Hello everyone, today we're going to learn about the Tokugawa era, or the Tokugawa shogunate of Japan, that lasted from 1600 AD to about 1870 AD. The Tokugawa shogunate was able to centralize the government after about 300 years of decentralization. One of the first things they did as rulers was mandate alternate attendance by the daimyo, where every other year they would have to send themselves to live in the capital, and when they were not there they had to have a family member live there. This turned into a grand event for all of the daimyo, where they would spend lots of money to bring servants and other people along with them, and it was a very big deal for them at the time. One of their biggest threats as shoguns was Christianity, and they saw Christianity as a threat to the country and the way they were living. They knew they weren't going to rebel and take over the country because of Christianity, but they saw it as a threat, so they wanted to get a handle of it. To do so, they deported the missionaries that had come from outside nations that were spreading Christianity. They offered rewards for those who exposed people who practiced it, which would make people more likely not to hold out information because their friend was practicing Christianity because the reward was so high. They officially made Christianity illegal, and anybody who practiced it was able to be put in jail, or even put to death. And they also closed off trades from most other nations, except for a select few, as to not have the traders come and influence the rest of the population. A second threat to the Tokugawa shogunate was the U.S. and their high demands that they brought in 1853 along with Matthew Perry. When they landed in the port of Edo, which was the capital at the time, Perry demanded that Japan open up to the U.S. for trade. They allow them to have an ambassador at all times in Japan, and that they would save shipwrecked sailors. When the two sides couldn't come to an agreement right away, Perry left for China, saying that when he returned he would expect his answer from the Japanese. However, while he was gone, the shogun of Japan died, and a new shogun was elected, but the shogun could not make up its mind by the time Perry arrived. And so at that point, the daimyo decided to take a meeting, and the emperor and the daimyo decided that it would be best to accommodate to Perry's terms. This was good for both sides, because neither of them really wanted to fight. Japan knew that if they did fight, the Americans would win because they had much better tech with them, and the Americans knew that if they fought they would lose people, and they didn't want to do that. With this agreement, Japan was able to become open to tech and science advancement from the U.S. and the other countries that eventually asked to become trading partners with Japan now that the U.S. had been able to do what they did. After Perry's visit, within 20 years, Japan realized that the shogun method of ruling was out of fashion, and the current shogun stepped down in favor of letting the emperor return to power, and that is how the Tokugawa shogunate ended, and that is how Japan has become what it has today.